Well, welcome everybody to this, day one of the Royal Commission into whether or not the Prime Minister of New Zealand can become the Prime Minister of Australia instead. This commission was established in response to the groundswell of support for the leadership qualities of Jacinda Ardern, which, when juxtaposed with the gormless, wide-eyed personality vacuums currently operating out of Canberra, leads us to the inescapable conclusion that she would indeed be the right person to lead our nation forward. Now, to the naysayers, it should be noted that this wouldn't be the first time we've had a leader from New Zealand in this country, and I refer, of course, to the Barnaby-Joyce experiment. Of course, were Ms Ardern to become Prime Minister, there would be some compromises required on her part, specifically accepting that Pavlova was an Australian invention, the Crowded House is an Australian band, and that a container of ice will henceforth be known as an esky rather than a chili bin. Much as it is very enjoyable to say the words chili bin, and I invite you all to say it now.
Chili bin.
Correct, it's quite fun. But regrettably, it is the view of this commission that the term chili bin is unbefitting of the sanctity of the ice bucket. We now turn to the benefits that a Kiwi Prime Minister would bring to Australia. Ms Ardern's dignified and compassionate response to recent events has seen New Zealand's international reputation catapulted to eye-watering levels. Can anyone here name another New Zealand Prime Minister? Anyone at all? It's not Phar Lap, I looked it up. See? By contrast, Australia remains best known around the world for a grown man who used to tackle crocodiles in tight khaki pants while shouting crikey. I mean, that and the systematic incarceration of genuine refugees. But I digress. Now, on the topic of compassion, the world watched in admiration as Ms Ardern donned a hijab in solidarity with the Muslim community, though I do note Australia has already had a female leader stand in Parliament not only wearing a hijab, but in fact a full burqa. And I acknowledge Ms Hanson's contribution to our nation's unity. When Ms Ardern spoke Maori, English and Arabic, it stood in stark contrast to the baseball cap wearing dad joke, holding his thumbs up and barking, "Go Sharkies." Or indeed his likely successor, the faceless party machine in an ill-fitting suit currently Stephen Bradburying his way to the lodge. To borrow a phrase from our Kiwi cousins, it's hardly much of a choice bro. Now, tomorrow we will be subpoenaing Gold Logie winning broadcaster Waleed Ali for a first-hand account of the charisma of both Prime Ministers, noting that Ms Ardern began their interview with a heartfelt embrace, whereas Mr Morrison displayed all the warmth of a service station meat pie. Naturally, were Ms Ardern to become Prime Minister of Australia, we would need to reciprocate and send them a leader in return, someone who is well-known, much loved and available. And this commission will be recommending Karl Stefanovic. And finally, once Ms Ardern is installed as Prime Minister, I have no doubt our great country will embrace her like we have all recent leaders, by undermining, sniping and swiftly removing her from office after 3 weeks. That concludes today's hearing. Don't dream. It's over.